flash it. All flash, no smash, right? You want to fix it. The easiest way to fix it is get yourself into good stances. Mr. Parker, in his Encyclopedia of Tempo, says the power is the ability to change or channel strength to achieve maximum force. Properly executed, it will look like force is being expended without effort. So there's what we get into that. Properly executed. Stances in the same book. Postural positions of the legs and the body. So a lot of people think stances and think, oh, she's my leg. She's whatever I'm doing with the legs. That's my stance. That's not true. Your body is an important factor. It's a much important factor in your stance as your legs are. You can have perfect stance. I can't even do one back. Perfect stance if you leaning over or throwing back, and your stance is worthless. Example you brought on after. Just do your regular right neutral bone. Lean back. There's nothing there. But do it correctly, like I know you can. Like a little brick wall. She hits hard too, because she uses her stances really well. So, jump through. What are some of the different stances we have in Kempo? Start on this end and go that way. What stances? Can you tell me a stance you have in Kempo?
Neutral bow.
Okay. Any neutral bow. We'll just say neutral bow, okay? What's the first one you learned? How about this? What's the first stance you learned in karate?
Horse stance.
The horse stance, right? What's that stance used for? Training purposes. Rarely do you use that in anything else but a training purpose, okay? But it is important. Have a good horse stance, right? So we can all just jump into a horse stance real quick. Ready to move? Okay. We're there, right? We've got good horse stance. Everything's looking good. Where's our power come from this stance? The legs. If I was throwing punches, where's my power coming from? Those are forces. That's why we're using the other force forward. That's where motion power can come. And proper alignment. And you guys throw it if you have any other suggestions on what you think. My biggest thing, burn you out. My biggest thing is that in a stance, you're grounding yourself to the earth. Okay? All the power in the world is in your mind. Most. Except for this different kind of power. We're not that. We're not that good yet, right? But if I can ground myself, that means when I roll punch, everything back to the ground. That's the worst part. I hit real wrong. Heard these boundary lots. Indians, if they had to fight a bear or a buffalo, they'd use a spear. They just hold the spear in the air and try to stab it out or let it run through. Ground, so when it comes to everything, you've got to do the same with your stances. The proper alignment, proper positioning, things like that. You're going to channel it into the ground and help generate power. I can't have Brett standing right here staring at me, making me nervous. For all those of you that don't know Brett, he was when I first started way back in the day, was there with me. He was a black belt at that time, and he was so cool. He had the cool Chinese blood from Bruce Lee, Chinese fighting blood. He was a really exceptional artist back in the day, and I'm sure he still is. I haven't seen him for like almost 30 years. So. But it's hard when I feel inadequate, right? I wanted to be teaching these people, not a black belt. Chat, right?
Yeah. Bill teaches me every week.
Good. So, if we can take our stances and ground them in the earth, it can help us generate power. So let's just jump through the basic stances we use, right? Horse stance also we've talked about as a training stance for the most part. There are some instances where you will use it in a technique, but it's very rare. The neutral bow, right or left, it doesn't matter. drop fighting stance. That's where, that's where we're at and where most of our engagement is. The forward bow, right or left, is just where I was talking about. We just get ourselves anchored to the ground. And I know those upper belts, sometimes we cheat that forward bow. We do a modifier. We get our heel up on the ground. If you will do a forward bow modified with the heel off the ground and then put the punch straight out. If I put pressure here, he's got to go straight. But to get the real pressure, this heel has to go to the ground. To get locked up, now put that same forward bow to go on the ground. I'm 260 pounds. I couldn't move them just putting my weight against them. So, I know we think it's faster, and it may be, but sometimes you really want that power generated from that stance. So the proper stance in forward row is to put the heel on the ground and lock that leg out. Get your hips pulled together, and if you throw that punch, like we talked about earlier, it's coming from here, traveling all the way down your body, into your leg, and down to the ground. So you have all that backup mass behind you. So, let's work real quick. It's not the first technique anymore, flashing swords. First strike on that, starts off with a good reasonable over. And go in with block. Now, if you don't get into a good stance when you throw that block, I'm going to let this young lady go ahead and hit me. I'm going to throw the punch and just do the technique, okay? Just the first part, just the block part. The block part.
Okay.
Not the whole technique, one more time. You have a lot of faith in this little young lady. I was hoping Layla was going to be here because I know I can make her do something. She didn't do it. I doubt she would do it. This young man, Mike. You do the same technique, okay? Sure. Yeah, needed him to do this. Are your toes, are your heel toe on the line?
No.
No, the line's right here. Right? You stepped a little deep. Yeah. And that is so common that we actually changed one of the techniques to incorporate that, right? Whipping mace. We changed it because what's the first reaction of most new students? They won't go to here because they're afraid. They want to get out of the way. So they swing all the way back up. You stayed pretty square, but you did off the line a little bit. So we took advantage of the training, made whipping mace. You're stepping up a circle and get that strike. But you still had a good block too. But if you would have gone straight back into the big neutral, to that same one, you would have dead armed it. You didn't. So I'm glad you didn't. But, so, any thoughts up to this point? Like I say, this is my first one, so I rely a little bit on you guys to help me through it. And I get nervous, I'm probably talking like 100 miles a minute. But, so let's just pair for a minute and just work on flashing swords. Work that first stepping into the neutral and the block. And then also work the forward bow that follows the palm hip behind you. You gotta make sure the forward bow is hip the kid through the anchor. And that's my bad leg, that hurt. So we'll go this way for a minute. Make sure everything anchors good and back to the ground. Okay? So let's just work that for a minute on each other 3 or 4 times a piece. And tell me what you think about it. Any thoughts or sure. You're fine. So what were your thoughts when you did that? Any thoughts? I noticed that Chad back there is using some good directional harmony with it. Gets that directional motion going. But did any of you try going from the forward bow, neutralizing back into that neutral on that last strike of that technique? Did you feel the generation of power through that? Ryan, you cannot sit there. Okay, anyway, well, some Some other stances we use quite frequently would be the reverse bow. You guys tell me a technique when we use the reverse bow. Walking horns. How about one in the yellow belt? That's the one that we don't use anymore. Either storm, what I'm trying to say? Okay. Either storm uses reverse bow. What's that reverse bow give us? What does reverse bow do for us? Anyone know? Speak out, Donna. Create some distance. Yes, most definitely. It gives us some distance from our opponent. It also helps us generate opposing forces for power. Body's kind of going out, traction forward, especially on eye of the storm.
I guess whip and hammer.
Whip and hammer. Well, it doesn't use a reverse bow. You do it with a reverse bow. I don't do it with a reverse bow.
I see.
When I do whip and hammer. When I do whip and hammer, I try to step where I'm in a neutral bow.
I see.
Use more of that directional arming that you have going on. So I just step into them, and back. Yep.
Straightforward.
Yeah, that's how I do it. I don't know if it's correct, but that's, no one's told me that it's wrong yet. So until someone does, I'll did you get it all? Got it all? Can you read my handwriting?
Yes.
Okay. So reverse bow gives us some power to opposing forces, creates distance from our opponent. We've got a wide kneel, which we do come up on our toes. But the weight distribution, well, we should talk about that too. In our stance, what is our weight distribution? We'll start with a neutral bow. Weight distribution is what? 50-50, right? Forward bow, what's the weight distribution? 40, where's the 60? On the front line. Okay, great. Wide kneel. What's our weight distribution?
Right about 60-40.
50-50 still. Keeping our weight there. Closed kneel. Still 50-50, closed kneel. Another stance we use, I don't really fight out, but a couple times, a cat stance, which we use as more of a transitional stance.
95-5.
That works. Anything over 90-10 is fine. As long as you feel 90 to 100 if you want it. But I've had Herb hit me using that cat stance in gathering clouds, and about sent me through turned me into a puddle of mud on the floor. Anyone has a question, Herb gets hard, just in case you wonder. If he wants to. He can be somewhat gentle sometimes too.
No size hands, it can be gentle.
Right. Yeah. Not very fair, is it? Most of us just have regular size hands. Herb's got this hand the size of this tablet. By the way, these are so awesome.
You're welcome. I was like, hey, I recognize that.
Yeah. It works great for my job too, so that's cool.
Excellent.
But so anyway, let's so I got ahead of myself a little bit, but let's talk about some of the principles we use when we're using our stances. What's one of the first principles you think of when you step back into a neutral bow? What do? You settle your body, right? Married or grounded. Down, I'm anchored. Another principle that we use in our stances is alignment. Like we kind of talked about already. If your alignment's off, your stance isn't very good. Your stance isn't very good. Your strikes aren't going to be very good. Get his name now. One of the older guys, and I know this from before, when I was talking about stances, he said to me, your stance isn't good, your tempo's nothing, right? I'd rather be hit by someone that doesn't know how they're standing, unless his name happened to be Mr. Mills. I don't think it matters which way he's standing. But someone that's got good stances doesn't know how to hit very good, is going to blow someone away who can hit but not have good stances. It's been an hour, right?
We're not sweating enough yet, Dale.
Huh?
We're not sweating hard enough yet.
I will be in there. Oh, so the other thing is timing, right? You step back and throw a block. If I settle and then throw my block, have I gained anything? Not a whole lot, right? But if I settle for a block, they hit at the same time. That's going to create a lot of power. So, a lot of things, and you can work the first, all the yellow belt techniques for a year and just work on your stances and your timing and your alignment, and you still probably wouldn't get it right, but you'd be a lot better martial artist. The other thing I noticed when people were testing today, this is my favorite thing to watch, is Form 1. Because no one ever waits when they're doing their form to throw their strike with their stance. They'll start throwing a block, and they'll already be moving their feet to the next side, corner, wherever we're going, right? It's not a race. Anyone that says it is wrong. You are not racing to get through that technique. Because if you're racing, you're not doing it properly. There's a saying out there. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Now your version of slow will be different as you progress. As you get better, your slow is not going to be this. Audrey's slow is not the same as Charlotte's slow. So if you think about it, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Same thing applies when you're stepping back into your technique. If I hurriedly, and I see this a lot when we're working in class, I double step because I want to get to my technique. How many of us double step because we want to get to our technique? I do it all the time. If I go one slow step versus two fast double steps, I'm not going to be as fast. People get nervous, they do that. They jump step, right? Versus, it's hard to catch timing on a double step. You can do it. Some people are really fast, they do just fine. But I'm not. I'm old, I'm slow. If I do one step, I'm lazy. Yeah, I'm going to call it lazy man's Kempo. One step is better than two. And I'm going to be more stable. So that's something to think about as you're working your techniques and your stances. I used to years ago, like to put a little black tape cross on my floor to help me do that. So I can just sit here, pop, back into the stance and look and see. Because a lot of times we don't know, right? If we can't see our feet, we don't know if we're in a good stance. Charlotte, I'm going to pick on you just a little bit. Your front foot needs to turn with your back. They should point the same direction. Especially the bad part about if you leave this foot straight like this, turn the foot straight. Where's your knee? Someone kicks you in the knee with that foot straight. It's a break. Now turn your foot sideways. Someone kicks you in the knee. It's got some hip, right? It'll collapse. And I know Taekwondo guys, I think, a lot of them fight with that leg straight. It just seems, I think Karate Kid did it too. That's why I got kicked in the knee. He got hurt. Anyway, I tend to joke a little bit when I'm nervous, so I'm not that funny. I just like to joke. There's nothing better than the movies from, I don't know which one. But, so if you think about it, this good solid stance is your backup mass for everything. Destroying wedge, right? We took it away, right? Who likes destroying wedge? Why do you think they took it away?
People were struggling.
It's because most little people or young people, even him right here, you have to show him, or, okay, if me, larger fellow, pushing this little guy, he's not,
Try to get out of the way.
that's where you made your mistake. You got out of the way. So you just did what we changed the technique into, right? You just went to whip and mace. Because you were afraid you had to get out of the way. But, Chad, you come here for me. Oh, Kendra wants to come here?
Yeah.
Am I pushing you?
Sure.
Okay. If you go into a good stance on this technique, doesn't matter if they're pushing you. She's solid. She got back up to the ground. She stopped me. And we'll do it one more time. Okay. Kendra is the exception to the rule. This amazing woman right here stopped 10 if she wanted to. But most women struggle with trying to stop a big person. Audrey does a really good job too. She's got those bony little elbows. She drives them right into your sternum and chest area. But that's why they changed it. Younger belt, they get a little bit of that fear. If it goes too far, if you go too far, there's nothing to stop you. There's no backing. We use that same thing. Taming the bear, I think, is one that has that same kind of, you got to kind of stop them a little bit. People don't step over enough to get their stance stable. So people try to cheat it, and unless you're really good, cheating doesn't work. And hope your instructor's blind, I don't know. Either way, mine doesn't happen to be. He's a very observant man. Even when I think I'm doing real good, he tells me what I'm doing wrong. So, things like that are why we change. So, I can't emphasize how important the stances are in all of the techniques you do. But they're going to make a difference if you want to be a good martial artist or an average martial artist. You can fix it all with your stance. So let's. Is there any questions or thoughts up to this point? You need to practice? We all need to practice. As soon as you think you're really good, rethink it, because you're not. As I say all the time, that black belt, that's not the pinnacle, right? Once you get the black belt, you've packed your bags for the journey. Now you can start to go. Learn a lot. I learned probably more after I got my black belt than I did before I got the black belt. So my next thought was just to pick a couple techniques you guys like and work the stances in. So, any on takers? Favorite technique? Anybody? Not so favorite technique? Something needs work?
Crossing down.
5 swords.
5 swords? I like 5 swords. It's got a lot of stance change in it, doesn't it?
Yeah. That's a good one.
Okay. So let's work 5 swords. Let's get in little groups or partner up a little bit. Do it a couple times. Look at your stances. See if you can find something you want to change. See if you can find how many different stance changes there are in 5 techniques. Switch it up. So your next try Did any of you try to count how many stance changes there were in that one technique?
He's coming right. He's not
Did you recognize the stance changes? At least 6, probably more, but.
Right? Bert can probably find like 13.
Right, so, and the Chad just got beat to death back there. And if you watch, he didn't put out any effort. He didn't put out any effort. Just proper alignment, smooth and easy striking, right? That's why I'm probably the last guy that should be doing a seminar like this. But,
That's how you learn. You teach and learn, you learn
Yeah.
more.
there was something I saw. We were talking about that little double step that people like to do, right? Who doesn't? I mean, or we were talking about the speed, and we were talking about the speed. I like my heel on the ground. I know Randall is fast, he likes his up, he can go that way. So you're gonna have to find what works best for you. But you can't break the standard principle, or the core principles of anything when you're doing it. You're doing the stances. You gotta stay within the principles, body alignment. I saw a different timing Randall did with that first strike to the neck, trying to hit then some. But it's only a micro,
Yeah, it's very simple.
just micro change. You can do it. So you guys are going to find stuff that you're good at. And if you find something you're good at, try to incorporate it into what you do in your karate. Because truthfully, honestly, I'm never going to move like Randall. Randall's never going to move like her. You women are never going to move like the men. It's not body mechanics.
It depends on how they identify.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Well, in my world, there's only 2 things you can get.
Amen.
Everything else is outside my world, and I don't even care about stuff. But, where are we at in time? Where's the guy in charge?
I don't know where she's at.
I think she's up in with Jen.
Like 8 minutes. So any thoughts as you're working that technique?
Now you got 8 more minutes.
Okay, thanks. Anyone have any thoughts as they're working that technique? Is things they noticed or things that, we got good help here. We got some good help to help us. If we got any questions, if I don't know the answer, they will.
And if we don't, we'll make it up.
That's right.
Together, right? Any thoughts? Chatter back
Yeah, I
there.
think rephrase that, like keeping your shoulders above your
Over your heels,
stance,
right?
Yeah, so that you're not leaning
Right.
and stuff. You kind of throw. I was doing it myself, throwing chops, and I kind of leaned a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, body alignment. Go back to body alignment. Shoulder over heels, right? Does this work? Does this work? No. You just deprive your body of any mechanical. One I used to like the word also. I'm gonna pick on you because I know you'll do it.
Okay.
I'm not gonna hit you, swing at you. I just want you to jump back into that stance like you were doing when I came hard at you. So overturn on your neutral bow. Just go there right there. Right there. Okay, yep. Do flashing swords, you can do the first block. Go ahead, when you're ready. It's on your time. I'm not gonna punch you, I'm just gonna do it in the air. Just go to the first block. But overturn like you were doing before. Okay. This strike comes, the next strike is a forward bow with this hand, right? Can you throw that hand towards me? Put your foot back where it's supposed to be. If you're here, I'm bigger. He's not thick to the midsection like I am. I cannot punch you over here if I overstep. If you're here, I can't punch you. But if I turn my body to where it's supposed to be, I got that much more reach, just being in proper alignment. You cannot punch across your midsection. Unless the person's over here, then you can do it. But you're not getting someone there. There's too much that binds up. Females, there's more that lines up.
Which is why we move different.
Yeah. So, if you don't overstand, you can punch. Does that make sense? Does that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I just make sure it makes sense, because sometimes I just talk.
You're doing great.
What other thoughts do I have? Must be over, the tablet shut off. We'll simplify this just a little bit. When we're doing flashing, thank you much for your help. When we step back and get the good block, forego, neutralize, right? So every one of those stances is going to generate us power by timing our strikes with the stance change. A lot of times, I just need a body. I want to hit you. You put your arm out there like you do. Here, here. How many times? Actually, let's go back to this. Okay. How many times do we do this? No body moving in at all. We're just throwing our hands, right? Someone with heavy body might get some good strikes, but a lot better strikes. You just turn and get your alignment, get your, so when we think about power, it's not one part of our body. It's all parts of our body working in unison together. You can hit hard just throwing your hand out there if you wanted to. But if I throw my hand, if I throw that and get my body turning with it, get my hips engaged, it's going to be a lot harder, especially this one versus, I can throw it out there. If I throw that hip in, that's how you break boards. That's how you break ribs. That's how you break noses on an inch wide from here to there. So your body has to be in alignment with your strike. There's 1,000, I have the encyclopedia out looking at all the different principles and things, and there's so many, we don't have enough time for that, right? You can take 10 of them in 5 seconds. So just in one strike, that block, marriage of gravity, body alignment, proper point of origin, right? Everything that makes tempo what it is, it just comes down to using your proper principles and doing what your body already knows how to do. It's body mechanics. If you work against your body mechanics, you're never going to do what you need to do. Like I said, you can't punch here. It doesn't work. You can punch here all you want. So, things to think about. Any other thoughts? Make me nervous.
I think really taking the time to feel the settle
That's big.
and like planting.
You don't have to really do anything but just stand there and drop into a stance. And a good stance, not my soft. So, well, that's about all I got, people. So, if there's no questions, thank you very much.